Okay, here we are again on our third day of exploring the richness of the Examen Prayer of Ignatius of Loyola. And so I'm going to quickly just go through what the steps are that we've been through so far. And the Examen really should take maybe 15 minutes when you do it, but we're just going to quickly review those steps. And you may want to pause after I've reviewed them and do them because it is cumulative. And you may want to look back over the Daily Grace videos from the previous couple days because this all works together. There's a great wisdom here in Ignatius as he puts these steps together. And so you want to give yourself the gift of having gotten to this point with grace, right? Given as we explore steps 3 and 4 today. So as a reminder, the steps are that we, first of all, there's the pre-step of reminding ourselves that we are forever and always in the presence of grace, right? We are forever and always in the presence of grace. And once we take a moment or two to pause there and welcome that, then we turn to the second step, which is calling to mind and heart the gratitudes. This is the foundation for the whole thing. My gratitudes over the past 24 hours. What am I grateful for, right? What are the blessings, the gifts that are in my life? I want to slow down and see them, right? And let me pray them back to grace. Don't miss them. This love song that grace is singing to me. So the gratitudes. And then we get into the second step, which is the petition step, in which I turn to grace and I say, okay, it's a love song here. How am I doing? Am I singing the tune? So I give you permission, grace, to show me. And in your own words, you say to grace, show me, show me. And then we review our day. We look back over the previous 24 hours and review our day. And yesterday we looked at those positives, those things that we celebrate, that the ways that we were invited to love and we said yes. Love of ourself, love of others, ways that we said yes to letting grace flow. So you may want to pause here before we move to a further review step today, and then the next step, which is I'll get to in a moment. So you may want to pause just for a moment to let yourself settle into those first 3 steps and let them settle into you and live in you before we move to the next step. So you can do that now if you like. And we will continue with the review. So we've reviewed the ways we've said yes to grace, and now we may notice when we review our lives, and we will pause for a moment to do this again, right? We're looking now also for the ways that I haven't said yes to grace. So there are many ways that I've said yes to love, and through my own human condition and my own brokenness and the way I live, wanting certainly to do my best and loving. Some ways I succeed and some ways I don't. And so another part of the review is to look and see, how have I not said yes to love? Where did I deny the impulse to love? Where was I invited to be loving? And we may know some of those. I know those sharp moments when I've been unkind or acted out of survivor self, to use core language, right? Survivor self part just led the way. And sometimes there's an impulse to say, well, I'm just going to let that go and it's all good. Life is perfect as it is. Well, I don't think so much. We don't do ourselves and the world a service when we deny the ways that we've been unloving. So we want to look at them through the eyes of love. This isn't a judgment or a harsh critique. It's, I look at the ways I have not been loving so that I may grow in love tomorrow. So I can light up, bing, 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 right? And I'm thinking these last 2 chakras, bing, bing, I open up, so I want to see, clear seeing, right? Clear seeing. So in a moment, I'm going to invite you to to call to mind and heart those ways of the past 24 hours that you have not been loving, that maybe you had that harsh word with someone, or you feel this heavy on your heart, or this sense of guilt or something that you didn't respond in love the way you want to from your healthy self. And we want to see that, and that takes us to the next step, the 4th step of the Examen, which is what we call the forgivenesses or the let-goes. I acknowledge it so I can give it back to grace so that I may grow in love. So let's just pause for a moment. Well, you can keep listening, and there'll be an opportunity to pause me in a second if that feels like it would be a good thing to do. And just close your eyes and let yourself settle into that review if you haven't already done it, and now we're looking specifically over the past 24 hours those ways that I have not been loving or was invited to dance in love. And if you're a human being, you want to find one. If you go 2 or 3 days and you're like, I don't see anything, I'm going to say with all love and kindness, you're not looking hard enough, right? I'm not looking hard enough if I think I'm perfect, if I think I'm just pure love, right? So taking a moment, and you may pause the tape here if you like, that may feel like a good thing to do, to look back over the past 24 hours and see, where did I deny the action of grace? Where did I not sing the love song? You call that to mind and heart. So once you've done that, then we bring ourselves to this fourth step of the examen, which is the forgivenesses and let goes. And this is such a tender and beautiful part of the examen that we're just quickly going through here. But I do invite you to sit with that, right? Those missteps and those ways that we haven't been loving aren't there for us to carry like burdens for the rest of our lives, right? They're there perhaps to give us a little insight into the dance of love and how we may grow in it. And so we own it, that act, that unkind word, or that harsh action, or that survivor self way of wounding someone, and we give it back to grace. And here's an image you may sit with today. I drop it like a drop into the ocean of the mercy of grace. If grace is this loving, benevolent presence, for Ignatius, again, this very personal, unconditional love of God, to use Ignatius's language, right? I hand back with perhaps a sense of sorrow and a desire to grow in love. I give back those things with an I'm sorry, and I let it go. And so if that speaks to you in this moment, you may want to pause and spend some time doing that. I invite you to take that letting go and that dropping back, that forgiveness and let goes into your day today.